Hello and welcome back to TGTV, and more specifically, welcome back to a long-awaited Watch Talk episode. I haven't done one of these videos for quite some time now, so I'm back on the channel talking watches. If it's one comment I get the most, it's you guys asking for watch stuff. So I'm going to do some more watch stuff. I'm going to go through another piece from my collection. As always with Watch Talk, this episode is brought to you, and I'm going to tie this in properly in a bit, but this episode is brought to you with BOTB. The watch in question I'm talking about, Rolex have actually just reintroduced into their lineup for 2018, and that watch is now in the lineup with BOTB. If you don't know who BOTB are, they are the company in which you can win a car every single week. Why am I resting like this? I've had a long day, I'm just resting my head. You can win a car every single week, but they have also introduced now a lifestyle competition. Have I spat on myself? They have introduced a lifestyle competition in which you can win watches, gadgets, Apple stuff, drones, holidays, all the rest of it, okay? Tickets start from just 15p. Particularly the watch stuff is what I'm most interested in. The lineup on there is ridiculous. Make sure you go and check it out. I'll leave all links below. But anyway, without further ado, I will now get in some watch chat, because this is one of my favourite pieces, and whenever I wear it on my Instagram or a YouTube video, you guys spot it and you ask about it. And I've not really talked about this watch online yet, so here we go. So then, what do we have here? And I'm going to get onto the strap because you're already asking about it. I know you are in the comments. We will get on to the strap. So what do we have here? We have the Rolex 16753. It is popularly known as the Rootbeer. It is a GMT model, and it is actually the first GMT that Rolex made in stainless steel and gold, a two-tone one. The original GMT was brought out in 1954, I believe, and it came with a rather silly bezel that used to break after about like a year or so of use. So Rolex discontinued those, and they started making them with these aluminium bezels. As I say, you could only get that in full stainless or full gold. In the early 70s, they then brought out this Rootbeer combination, which comes with a kind of cream one side of the bezel and like kind of browny orange other side of the bezel with a brown dial. This sort of combination hasn't really been seen on Rolexes before. Well, it hadn't been seen before that, and it hasn't been seen since until recently when they relaunched the Rootbeer, sparking the original ones like this to shoot up in value, which I'm rather smug about. I've had this for many, many years. So this one, how best to explain it? Why did I go for this model, and why is it on this? Bro, that was probably me swearing at someone in another language, wasn't it? So then, I'll get onto the strap first things first, because you're curious about it. So this strap here is what's called a bund strap. They became rather fashionable. I think Steve McQueen liked to bund. Do you know about these things?
Yeah, Bunningtons.
You know about them. So it's kind of got a little portion on the back there, and the watch actually is on its own leather strap. It kind of comes out of there, if you can see that, which then slots through onto there, like so. So anyway, these were made popular by Steve McQueen. I remember was it him? He used to wear one. Anyway, I recently saw Beckham, I say recently, in the past 10 years, Beckham, before he started being silly with Breitling and being silly with Tudor, he had actually, I think, a Rootbeer on a bun strap. You can go and Google that. But I saw him with one, and I always thought they were cool. So yeah, there we go. I copied David Beckham. Who would have thought it? But anyway, the bracelet that comes on the watch originally, it's here, it's in the box. And if you're wondering where the end links are and getting stressed about that, well, I'm going to go and find it. The rest of my flat is in quite a pickle. Burgers everywhere. So we've got the end links here that go into the bracelet. That's all in a little bag as well. I'm all very organised with it. But the only thing I am organised with is my watches. That's about it. So to preserve the life of the strap, because these two-tone Jubilee bracelets really, really do not last well. The gold is very soft in the centre, and it just doesn't fare very well. As you can see, it's already like a piece of ham. Can you confirm that's much like a piece of Bernard Matthews? It's chaos. It's overall in very good condition, but it's not been polished, and it's obviously had quite a long life. This particular one's over 30 years old, so to preserve the strap anyway, I put it on this bund. And I also bought this little buckle. I don't know if you can see that little Rolex buckle I don't know if that's original or not, but I bought that off eBay anyway. I found it on there. So if you are putting a kind of a leather band on your Rolex, you can find those little buckles relatively cheaply. I think I paid 20 quid or so for that, which I thought looked quite good. But anyway, the bracelet is off. Also then, you may have spotted this, the watch went in for service with Rolex, I believe. And the original owner specified for them not to change the bezel. So that's what the bezel kind of originally looks like, I'm led to believe. But that's the bezel on there at the moment is what it looks like with 30 years of use. As you can see, the teeth on the bezel as well around the outside of the watch, they've become worn down in time as well. As I touched on before, gold is a very soft metal, so over time it does take a bit of a pounding. Okay, so I'm not going to put that new bezel on. I don't like the kind of refurb look, so we'll just leave that in the box. Why did I pick this particular model then? Why did I go for it? Because it's a bit of a controversial choice. I went for this because I like the fact that it was a bit of an anomaly in Rolex's range. They went a bit punchy with the colour scheme, and not everyone liked it when it first came out. I didn't have any other watches in my collection with a brown dial and with like orange and gold bits on. So I thought, why the hell not? And I always thought as well, because it was an anomaly and it was a bit of a unicorn, and you didn't see many of them about, I always thought that it was going to hold its value quite well and go up, and it'd be the sort of thing I could give to my kids. God forbid anyone breeds with me. And it would go up, and it would just be quite a cool thing to have. I also bought it with this in mind, and specifically was looking for ages for this particular watch, because I wanted a full set. So by full set, I mean full outer box. So this is literally like being in a time warp for 30 odd years. So this is the outer box it came in. You rarely find these watches these days with the carbon outer box. I know that's probably going to seem of very little relevance to you guys, but I personally like having everything that it came with, especially on the vintage stuff. It comes with the original swing tang that would have been dangling off it in the dealers all those years ago, which I think is really, really cool. And you can just about work out the price on there. I think it's a few hundred quid, which is sickening. We've got all the bits, the accoutrements in the box. It's mad to see how Rolex did things in those days as well, because this box is, much like the bracelet, it is a piece of ham, really. It's not up to the scratch with the kind of the Rolex boxes of these days, but it's kind of got a cool felt feel to it. It's also got the papers as well. The all-important certificate here. And this is how they used to do things. These days it's just a card. I'm going to put a little thing over there with the numbers, wherever the numbers are. But this is the original Rolex certificate, and you've got a little wax seal down there, which is quite cool. These days you just get a little kind of plastic card, which is not quite as cool. But even the certificate's in really nice condition. And it's got some sort of original stampings on there as well. But very, very rare to find, watches of this age with this sort of thing on it. And it literally almost doubles the price of the watch if you've got all this stuff with it. So very, very important. But we've got the name of the original owner on there, and we've also got the date on there, which is really, really cool. And this is pretty much exactly why I wanted it. A, it's the year I was born. Yes, I'm old. And B, it's actually dated Christmas Day, the year I was born, which I think is very, very cool. So there we go. I was looking for this particular one for months and months and months. I bought this, I would say, how many years have I had this now? Maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I paid, this is going to sound disgusting, I can't remember, but I think about 3.5, maybe 4K for it, which wasn't a particularly great price at the time. I remember haggling it, but thinking I just want it anyway, because I've been waiting ages to find the particular watch I wanted. So in the end, I just went for it. And I think, I've looked online recently, I think they're like 7 or 8K now for sort of an original full set root beer. Which is obviously represents quite a rise in value. I'm never going to sell this. I'm just not going to sell it. As I say, I'm going to hold on to it. It's been around the same amount of time as me, and I just think it's cool. A watch like this, like a Rolex GMT, it's never going to go out of fashion. It's always going to be sick. So I'm not going to sell this, but it's nice to know that it's gone up in value. And should the kind of can't pay, take it away, turn up, then I can release some cash out of it. So there we go. So Rolex then at the last Basel World, I think, announced that they were going to be doing all new GMT. So you've got the Pepsi bezel that you just can't get. It's the stainless steel one with the Jubilee bracelet. The red and blue bezel, you all know the one. You literally can't get that. I think they're about 6.5, 7 grand retail, and they're reselling for about sort of between 15 and 16k, which is just stupid. Rolex dealers aren't giving them out to anyone, and yeah, it's all just a farce, really. It's even more of a farce than the Daytona. Absolutely ridiculous. So there was that one announced, which everyone went mental over. And there was also announced the kind of 2018-2019 reiteration of the root beer. So they released a full gold version with brown bezel and whatnot. Very punchy watch. I believe that'll probably be about 25k. I don't know. I don't really look at kind of brand new gold Rolexes. But very, very cool watch. And they also released a stainless steel and gold root beer, which is exactly the same as this, just a modern version of it. They didn't, however, put it on the Jubilee bracelet. They put it on the Oyster bracelet, which is much more kind of similar to this one. This isn't a Rolex Tudor, but I haven't bought on it about them for a while. But they put it on an Oyster bracelet. So I must admit, I kind of like the Jubilee vibe. I know you're the same. Ollie's nodding up there. Not as fond of it, but the Oyster bracelet does last a lot longer, as I touched on earlier with the Bernard Matthews reference. It doesn't last that long. It just doesn't take abuse very well. There's a lot of stretch in that. I don't know if you can see that. It's like... but the Oyster bracelet does last a lot longer. It's a lot more sturdy, and it's got a kind of much more sort of heavyweight feel to it. I think you'd be surprised if you actually came and picked that up how... Ooh. Bear with me. Oh, it's you. Get in here. We're chatting, lads. Get yourself up here right now. Do you know who it is? It's Archie. And I kid you not, he was at the intercom. Sweets. Ah yes, the modern root beer. So then, in the BOTB competition I mentioned earlier, they have added the brand new root beer to it. They can't add a vintage one to it because there are not really many of them about. And to be honest with you, as a prize, I think the modern one's a lot cooler. But anyway, that's just been added to the lineup. Tickets start from 15p. You've got to be 16 or over to enter, and the links are all below. Make sure you check that out. Actually, I don't know if I've mentioned this in a video, have I? Someone won a watch off the back of one of my videos very, very recently.
I didn't know that.
Tudor. Actually, yeah, I was there. I met the bloke. I did a video on it.
Oh, I did know.
Here he is.
Ah.
Get in.
Ah.
What are you eating? Oh,
I've got knickknacks and chaos. It's chaos! Mate, the grab bags are chaos. Sweets. I tried to find veggie sweets, they just didn't have any, so I had to get knickknacks. Chaos.
These, 0. Very, very good. We're actually trying to film a video. They're filming.
Is that how I just rock up? It's chaos.
Yes, it is. Did you say you were coming round? What are you doing?
Drop knickknack in sofa.
No. You're still there. Yeah, this. You can clean that up. I think that's pretty much about it, actually. I think I'm going to wind it up there.
I actually like that. And that.
Thank you. Okay?
Yeah, goodbye, Tudor.
It's not.
Oh my
It's not a
god.
Tudor? Ah.
Clues on there, mate. It says.
No, I know, but I know you're wearing a Tudor.
Yeah, but it's not there, is it? It's on my what? Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, then, I think it's time to end it there because I'm about to get very angry. Thank you very much for watching. Do subscribe, and if you want to see more watch videos, let me know either in the comments or on my Instagram. I realise that you guys and girls recently have been very, very vocal on my Instagram. I do appreciate it. I read all the comments on my Instagram, actually on my YouTube as well. So if you're not following me over there, get over there because I am ridiculous in stories every single day. There's always something going on. The horses. On my stories.
Yeah, you posted horses are mayhem.
They are mayhem.
Yeah, they
Have you
are.
seen the size of some of them?
Yeah, some of them are just, they neigh.
They poo everywhere. It is carnage. Anyway, if you haven't entered the BOTB competition...
That is chaos.
If you haven't entered the BOTB competition, I'm trying to... Can you... Yeah? I'm making a very serious point here.
It's true. I mean, I can't deny it.
Links are below. Go and check it out. And let me know if you win, because you wouldn't be the first. Anyway, ciao for now. I'll see you again soon. Bye!